Hello everybody and happy holidays. We are in my kitchen. I have just gotten home from work and we have a lot to do. So I wanted to go over the things that we are going to be taking care of tonight and the things I still have to get to that I haven't gotten to, and I'm not sure if I will. So we have all of these peppers that have come off of our pepper plants that we really needed to make some salsa with. So they are starting to wrinkle on us a little bit, so it's got to get done. So I went and bought some Roma tomatoes to be able to get that done. And I have some onions that you can see are getting eyes on them. So those need to be used up. So I was going to use those for the salsa. And then you remember our one car that we had? It's ripe and ready to go. I think we'll probably have that for breakfast tomorrow. I made some holiday cookies. We did gingerbread men, which I still need to decorate. And then I made these yummy Andes mint cookies, some Rice Krispie treats. This is banana bread, peppermint bark, and then I also made some macadamia nut cookies, and I had also made these pecan Mexican wedding cookies is one of the names for them. They were so good, but those have already all been eaten. And then I had a client give me all these. It's a Chex Mix blend with caramel, so good. And then another one of our clients gave me a box of goodies that she made. Doesn't that look yummy? So good. And then we picked off the lemons that we had left on our tree. We ended up with seven that are left. And then we had limes that were turning yellow on us. So we picked off the limes. And there were kumquats on the tree also, and unfortunately they got soft on me and we had to pick all those off and we lost those. So all of that's going on. And then in here this morning in my refrigerator before I went to work, I started some cookie dough, and that has been sitting all day in the refrigerator just waiting for me. So that's going to be getting rolled out, and we are going to be making Christmas star cookies with them. And then I am going to be making my son's favorite cookies. They're called either Urban Legend cookies or Neiman Marcus cookies. We're going to do that together. So it is right now almost 6 o'clock, and we've got quite a bit to get done. We are going to start with the Christmas stars. I got this off of All Recipes. And to start, it says to preheat our oven to 350. Okay, we got that going. Then I'm going to be kind of switching you guys back and forth here. We have to line 2 baking sheets with parchment paper. Okay, we'll put that up here out of the way for now. Okay, and then it says to, on a floured surface, roll out half of the dough to a 1/8-inch thickness, and then cut the dough into star shapes. Okay. So I've already cleaned and sanitized my work surface here, which is right here. So I'm going to generously flour this area. And then I'm going to get my rolling pin. And take one of those forms that I had put in the refrigerator this morning. We're going to press that out. All right, guys, that's really chilled. Okay, that's so chilled that I'm gonna have to let that rest for a second. So in the meantime, we are going to make the Urban Legend cookies. So my son absolutely loves these cookies, and I found them online one day, and I was reading, and I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Thought I need to try this. It was a story about a woman who had gone into Neiman Marcus, and she had lunch. She had a salad, and for dessert she had a Neiman Marcus cookie. So when she got home, she couldn't get over how good this cookie was. So she called them and asked them for the recipe. Well, she asked how much they would charge her for this recipe, and the guy said $250. Well, when she got her Visa bill in the mail, it was a bill for $250 for this cookie recipe. Now, if you know Neiman Marcus, you know that could be possible. But they don't know where it started. They're saying that it's a hoax. For one, Neiman Marcus never had a cookie. When all of this came out online and social media in the 90s, they actually made a Neiman Marcus cookie. But the cookie that she had is not even like the cookie that they put a recipe to. The one that they did has espresso in it, and it doesn't have oatmeal, and no special things that you have to do with it. The one from the Urban Legend recipe, you have to blend the oatmeal, you have to grate a Hershey's chocolate bar to get a finer chocolate, and then put together all your other ingredients. So the other thing that they said it was a hoax was because at that point, Neiman Marcus didn't even accept Visa. They only accepted American Express. So it was all a hoax. And then I found out when I was researching it that this has also happened with Mrs. Fields, and it happened with there was another big company that they did this with, that they said there was a recipe for this cake, and it was another hoax, just something to do those, those letters that used to go out all over when there was AOL. But anyway, I made the cookies. My son absolutely loves them, so tonight we're gonna make them. Okay, so I've got some stuff ready to do prepping. The first thing I like to do is get everything ready so that I can just get it all put together, and then I stick it in the refrigerator for a little while to cool so it keeps a better form in the oven. So the first thing that we're gonna do is our chocolate. Now I used to take my hand grater, this guy here, and I used to do my chocolate with that. It took a while, and by the time I was done, the chocolate was melting and it was a mess. So that was one of the first things I learned. The other thing that I learned was to put it in the freezer. So when I get my chocolate bar, I stick it in the freezer, and that makes the grating a lot easier. So we're gonna use the food processor, and I have some chocolate that I had put in the freezer from last year when I was doing these cookies. and it's perfectly good because I put it in there right away, and I put it in a sealed container so it didn't get freezer burnt or anything. It's good. Now this is an older food processor, so it's going to be noisy and it's going to try to bounce around a little bit, so bear with me. As you can see, I've got this chocolate finely grated. See that? Okay, so that's ready to go. And one thing about that, like I had this Hershey's and a piece of that was broke off, and this is a 7-ounce. And then I had a Symphony milk chocolate bar also that also had a little piece broken off. So I just used these two to come up with what I needed. When you're talking about your chocolate chips or your raisins or your craisins or your nuts, you can substitute different things. You can kind of play with the variation on that stuff, and you don't have to have the exact amount. But when you're talking about your flours and your sugars and your butter and your oil and eggs and all that, you don't want to miss any of that or mess with that consistency. So I used what I had, and you don't have to use a Hershey bar. You can use any kind of chocolate bar. I prefer using milk chocolate. I did try dark chocolate one year and I didn't like it as well. So I've got my grated chocolate. Now I'm going to blend my oatmeal. I use my Vitamix here. And it comes, when I bought mine, it came with 2 different blenders. This one is for liquid, and then this one here is smaller, and it comes with all of its own stuff, you know, its own lid and everything. And the blades are just, they stick up just a little bit more, but otherwise these, and it's, you know, not as round. So we're going to use the dry blade attachment right here. And then we're going to put our ingredients in here, the oatmeal. Now you don't want it to be a fine powder. You don't want oatmeal flour. You just want blended oatmeal. So you still want a little bit of the chunk, but not all of it. So I start with about that much. I don't fill it all the way. And then I just pulse it. So that way you've got, it's kind of well blended, but it's still got some chunk in it. It's not a total flour. It's just well blended. Out of the way. And then the other special thing it calls for is nuts. And the way I like to do my nuts, I tell you guys, my counter is a disaster. I have so many things going on over here. Okay, this right here, I ordered one of those Shark Foodie grills, And when I ordered it, it came with this guy here. And this is a shark chopper. And I love this thing. So in the recipe, I'm doubling my recipe because as my son loves it, I have to be honest, we all love these cookies. So I have to make extra. Here's some that I've already chopped up. And I'm going to chop up these because in the recipe it calls for 1.5 cups of chopped nuts. And I'm doubling it, so I should have 3, but I don't want that many nuts. But I will use up what I have. And I'm using pecans and walnuts. I'm doing a blend. Scarlett is just waiting for me to drop something here. Here, look. Let me see. Look at her. She's just waiting for me to drop something. Okay, so all you do is you pulse down on this thing. And look at that. It just gives you this nice consistency of chopped nuts. So we're looking for that there. So we're just gonna dump all of those in there. We'll dump these ones in there. And then I have this bag of pecans I'm going to use up. Oh, I dropped the pecan. She is on it. So far, we have not found anything I don't think that Scarlett doesn't like. Except maybe onions. There we go. So I have about 2.5 cups. So that'll be plenty for the nuts. We'll get this out of the way. Okay, now, in the recipe, it says to, in a medium bowl, mix my flour, my blended oatmeal, my salt, baking powder, and baking soda. So like I said, I'm doubling the recipe. So I had 5 cups of the blended oatmeal, which is right here, 4 cups of flour. So we're gonna put those together. We have 1 teaspoon of salt. Right here. We have 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. There. And we are going to take our blender and mix all of that together. Is our dry ingredients, and now we are going to mix our wet ingredients together. And that called for 2 cups of unsalted butter, and I let this sit out this morning so it's at room temperature. I need 2 cups of granulated sugar. Where did I put my sugar? Right here. Trying to aim this the right way and I keep missing it. Okay. And then I need 2 cups of light brown sugar. And that is well packed light brown sugar. So make sure that you pack it in your cup before you put it in your bowl. And then 4 eggs. So before we add the eggs, we need to cream together our sugars and our butter. Now I do mine for about 3 minutes because I want it light and fluffy. Here you can see the consistency of just blended brown sugars and butter. So in 3 minutes, I'm going to come back and show you what I mean by light and fluffy. Okay, here we are. We are back. And do you see how the consistency of this is just nice and just soft and fluffy? Now you can tell that even more when you're dealing with just white sugars and the butter. In this part of the video, you see me mixing together all of the ingredients. We had already creamed together the butter and the sugars, and then I added the eggs and the vanilla. After adding that to a big bowl, I combined all of the ingredients and included the grated chocolate we had done, the flour and oatmeal mixture, and the chocolate chips and mixed nuts. After I did all of this, I put it in the refrigerator to set up a little bit better. We are back, and I've got the counter cleaned up again. And as you can see, I had to take the dough off and I had to clean all the flour off in order to make room for doing those other cookies. So now we're going to start on those Christmas stars. See if that dough is a little bit more workable now. And doughs are just not they're not my thing. I've never really been good at them. So we're going to see how this works. I never want to roll out right for me here. Whatever. So it's just something that I need to practice. See, just like there. I know right now I need more flour. It's just not my thing. But how do you learn if you don't try new things? So making that other recipe, I probably let this get a little too soft. Go figure. Okay, that looks about like 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to take our bigger star here and cut out some shapes. Okay, we are back. We've got the Christmas stars ready to go. That took a little while. I was trying to do it with this, and then I was going to do this one in the middle of that one. And then you put the jelly here, and then you cover it with this one. So it would have been a star, but I didn't have enough, if you can see, there's just not hardly any space in order to be able to pick it up off the counter and get that center out. So this whole star center would have had to have come out, and just that little edging, and it kept breaking on me when I was trying to get it up onto the cookie sheet. So I just took a little medicine cap that I had and put a hole in there, and that's going to be just fine too. It's going to look pretty. So I have a dozen. So I have a dozen of the full cookie and then a dozen of the ones with the holes in them. So I'm gonna get these in the oven and then we'll come back when they're done. All right, we are back. I have cooked these Christmas stars. I added some sprinkles to them. We ended up with 12 from that batch. And we're going to, they are completely cooled now. So we're gonna add some jelly to these, jam. We have red raspberry. I thought I'd try lemon curd and apricot. So we're gonna put those together. And here are our Neiman Marcus cookies. Let's see if I can break one of these open. Look at that, you guys. Look at how rich that is. So the way that we really like to eat these is I take them and I put them in the freezer. And whenever you want one, you take it out, let it sit for a couple of minutes until you can bite into it. And they are delicious when you eat them that way. I actually like them better that way than warm. Warm, they're just like another oatmeal cookie. And they are quite rich. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna spread it on our cookie here. Oh, we've got another batch getting ready to come out of the oven. Okay, and then we will take one of our tops and we'll line it up with the cookie, press down, and there you go, a Christmas star cookie. Get these done and show you what they look like when we're finished. All right, everyone, we are back. And I just wanted to show you how beautiful those turned out. Look at that. That circle instead of this star just turned out just fine. And then we are done with our cookies. We ended up with 98. And I filled a Tupperware container for my son. He's going to be coming over early in the morning to help me set up some equipment. So I'm getting those in the freezer so that those will be ready for him for part of his Christmas gift. He gets those every year. And trust me, he doesn't let me live it down if I forget to get them for him. So this is Debbie with Crazy Bees Urban Farm, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.